Hey everyone, ready to dive into something really cool. We're talking negotiation today, but with a really interesting twist. We've got Mitch Jackson with us,
Yes.
and he's a trial lawyer. He's been doing this for over 30 years.
Right.
Multi-million-dollar cases.
Wow, that's a long time in the courtroom.
It is. It is. So he knows his stuff, but what's really fascinating is that he's taking all that experience, all that courtroom know-how, and he's applying it to, get this, AI Web3 and the metaverse.
Yeah, he's like living in the future over there.
Right. And he's actually, this is the really cool part. He's sharing his AI-powered negotiation and sales tips, and he's doing it every week on LinkedIn.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to kind of up your game, this is the place to go.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think what I find so fascinating about this whole thing is that he's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk. You know what I mean? He's actually out there negotiating and structuring deals in these really cutting edge spaces.
It's like he's got this really interesting perspective because it's one thing to understand the theory behind negotiation, but he's been in the trenches.
Right.
He's like battle tested.
Exactly.
And now he's figured out a way to combine that with the power of AI.
Yeah.
So it's like he's found this secret weapon or something.
Yeah, and it really speaks to how AI is changing everything, right? Like it's not about replacing human intuition.
Right.
It's about amplifying it, like you said, giving you an edge.
So it's like you still need to know how to use the tool, right? It's not like AI is going to do everything for you,
Exactly.
but it can definitely make you a more effective negotiator.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So, like, imagine you're working on a deal in the metaverse, right?
Right.
Which is already mind-blowing.
I know, right?
AI can analyze past agreements, predict potential roadblocks, even suggest language that aligns with successful outcomes in similar situations.
It's like having a crystal ball, but for deals.
Right. And that's what he talks about a lot, like using AI to analyze those past deals and predict those outcomes. Like, how valuable is that, especially when you're talking about high stakes stuff?
It's huge. He calls it, isn't it predictive analytics?
Yeah, that's it.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I imagine that could really be a game changer for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So let's say you're about to present a proposal, right? Like AI can actually analyze all this historical data from similar deals
Okay.
and actually give you a prediction of how likely it is to be accepted, which is amazing.
Wow.
And then based on that, you can kind of tweak your approach.
That's wild. That's like having a cheat sheet almost.
Right.
Oh.
But, at the end of the day, it's not just about the data, right? Like you were saying.
Right.
There's this whole human element to negotiation, this art of persuasion.
Absolutely.
And this is where I think Mitch's experience as a trial lawyer really gives him that extra edge.
Oh, 100%. Because you got to read the room. Right.
Even when it's a virtual room, and that's where sentiment analysis comes in.
Oh, okay. See, now you're just using all these fancy terms that I don't even know. What is sentiment analysis?
Okay, so you know how you can sometimes tell how someone's feeling even if they're not explicitly saying it?
Right.
Like maybe their voice changes or their body language is different?
Yeah, the tone.
Exactly. It's like AI can do that too. It analyzes language patterns and tone.
Oh, wow.
So you can kind of get a deeper understanding of what the other person might be thinking or feeling, even if their words are carefully chosen.
So it's like you said, it's like being able to read the room, even in a virtual space. That's
Right.
wild.
And the cool thing is, then you can adjust your approach based on that.
Oh, I see, I see. So if you sense hesitation, or maybe they're not quite convinced, you could address those concerns head on.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And you might not pick up on those if you're just reading like an email or something.
Right.
You need that extra layer.
It's like having this extra sense or something.
Right. But here's the thing. Even with all this amazing technology, Mitch is very adamant about the fact that the human touch is still key.
He is?
Oh, yeah. He's very clear about that. AI is an enhancer. It's not a replacement.
Okay.
You still need to be able to build trust. You got to adapt to new information.
Yeah.
You got to build those relationships, the human stuff.
So it's not about becoming some kind of AI-powered robot negotiator. It's about using it to enhance the skills you already have.
100%. It's about finding that balance.
Which makes a lot of sense, especially coming from him.
Yeah.
He built his career on understanding people.
Right.
Building those connections. And that's really what it all comes down to in the end.
And you know what I think is so cool about his approach? He's not saying, hey, let's replace all the lawyers and negotiators with algorithms, It's more like, how can we give them the information they need, the insights to make things better for everyone involved?
Yeah, it's like you're saying it's a superpower, but it's not one you can just use willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Right? There's responsibility there.
Exactly. Exactly. You got to be smart about it.
Ethical considerations, all that.
Oh, for sure. And this is another area where Mitch's background is so valuable because he gets it, you know? He understands the ethical side of using AI in this kind of setting where trust is everything.
Yeah, it's not just, can you do it, but should you?
Right. And he talks a lot about transparency when it comes to AI and negotiation, like making sure everyone's on the same page, being upfront about it.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because it builds that trust, keeps the focus on the solution.
Exactly. It's not about tricking anyone or outsmarting them with technology. It's about finding common ground.
It all comes back to that human element, doesn't it?
It always does, right? Like AI can crunch the numbers, analyze all that data, but when it comes down to it, it's still people making the decisions.
Interpreting the data, building the relationships.
Exactly. It's about using AI to enhance our abilities, not replace us.
Totally. And that's a really important distinction, I think.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And that's what Mitch is all about, finding that sweet spot where human intuition and technology work together.
It's pretty amazing to think about how this could change the future of negotiation, you know?
It's already happening, and I think that's why what he's doing on LinkedIn is so important. He's giving people a glimpse into that future.
And not just in a theoretical way, but like real world, actionable advice.
Right, he's talking about multi-million-dollar deals, stuff he's actually worked on, so you know it's legit.
It's like having a masterclass with a seasoned pro, except it's free.
Exactly, and even if you're not dealing with those kinds of numbers, the principles are the same, you know?
Absolutely. Everyone negotiates in some way or another, right?
Every single day, whether you realize it or not.
So these insights are valuable for everyone, which is pretty cool.
And to think this is just the beginning. He's going to be sharing new tips every week.
Yeah, if you're serious about upping your negotiation game, connecting with him is a no-brainer.
Totally agree. It's like a front row seat to the future of negotiation, and who wouldn't want that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, hey, I figured this out, and now you can too.
Right. And he's not just teasing it either. He's giving you the actual strategies.
Yeah, he's not holding back.
No, he's like, here's the blueprint. Go get them.
Exactly. And that's what I think is so refreshing. It's not just about understanding AI in the abstract. It's about, okay, how do I actually use this in my life?
Yeah, how do you apply it? And not just in some robotic way. It's got to be authentic.
It's got to be you. Yeah.
And that's something I think gets lost sometimes. We get so caught up in the technology, we forget about the human part.
The human element, yeah, which Mitch is very big on.
He is. And for good reason, that's never going to go away, you know? Building trust, empathy, all of that.
Those are the things that really matter at the end of the day.
They do, no matter how advanced AI gets.
So if someone's listening to this, right, and they're thinking about what they can take away from all this, what would you say is the most important thing to remember?
I think the biggest thing is that AI isn't something to be afraid of. It's not this threat to negotiators. It's a tool.
Right, it's about using it to your advantage.
Exactly. And Mitch has shown us how to do that, how to combine these timeless principles with this cutting-edge technology.
And if you want to learn more, he's right there on LinkedIn sharing his insights every week.
Yep. It's an incredible resource, honestly.
It really is. He's like a pioneer in this space, and he's bringing everyone along with him.
Which is awesome. The more people who understand the stuff, the better.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, I think we've got our deep dive for the day.
I think so. We covered a lot of ground.
We did. But, hey, if you want to learn more, you know where to find us.
And Mitch.
And Mitch, exactly. Until next time.
Happy negotiating, everybody.